A game mod developer put their DLSS 3 mod for Starfield behind a DRM paywall, and some gamers are upset at having to pay $5 to access it. It's extortion is what it is, said all the owners of $1,000 NVIDIA graphics cards. I'm Riley Murdoch, this is GameLinked, and this is PureDark's Patreon, where they appear to have made over $40,000 just this month by charging for access to stuff that they spent time to make. Disgusting. And they might have made even more if the mod wasn't immediately cracked. To be clear, PureDark's DLSS 2 mod was always free, and the DLSS 3 mod only required users to pay $5 for a single month's Patreon subscription to authenticate the mod until infinity and beyond. But some gamers support pirating the mod because they think charging for mods is not in the spirit of mod making.
I wonder how many mods they've made.
You only need to consume them.
They've installed so many nude mods.
I like to call myself a connoisseur. It is in the spirit, however, of Bethesda's party face, Todd Howard, as he said months ago that he wanted to allow mod making to be not just a hobby, but a career. That's why you can purchase artisanal, farm-to-table mods for Fallout 4 and Skyrim at the Creation Club. So gamers, which is it? Should modders all be Robin Hoods, or is it okay sometimes for people to ask to get paid for their work when a banana costs $10, Michael? The National Board of the Actors Union SAG-AFTRA, whose members are behind the big film and TV actors strike you may have heard of, has voted unanimously to send a different vote to its members, potentially authorizing a strike against video game companies as well. This vote is to be held before the union resumes bargaining with companies like EA, Activision, Epic, and Take-Two. The union is seeking similar terms to what they've asked of TV and film companies, like an 11% wage increase and protections from AI, which have been bullying actors mercilessly. That was a horrible performance. Now that last point is particularly salient in the gaming industry due to the rise of AI and PC tools. NVIDIA Ace, for example, probably seems to video game actors more like an NVIDIA Deuce on their future job prospects. That's pretty good, Jacob. Pretty good one. If the strike authorization vote goes through, it doesn't guarantee a strike will happen. But if there is a breakdown in negotiations, the union will be able to call for one. And they should probably do that immediately because unlike a musical breakdown, there are no instrument solos in this one. Not even for guitars. Apparently a stalemate has already been reached. The coolest instrument.
Well, no, I think it's just the most basic one that gets solos all the time.
What about the saxophone? Apparently a stalemate has already been reached in negotiations with Activision and Take-Two, which I am absolutely shocked by. You're telling me the company that made Diablo Immortal and the company charging $40 for a Switch port of a 13-year-old game don't want to pay more for actors? What? Kindred.
Why are you Kindred?
Kindred, which is nerd for vampires, apparently, are rejoicing after a new release date has been set for Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines 2, the game with one of the longest names ever and with a more troubled development than Jacob's social skills.
It's okay, I wrote that one.
He did, I was gonna clarify that, because I would never. For the uninitiated, the game was initially announced back in 2019 and was given credibility because a writer on the first game, Brian Mitsoda, was announced as narrative lead. A year later, then developer Hardsuit Labs dropped Mitsoda and the game's creative director quicker than the conversation your parents tried to have after you walked into their room to discover one of them was dressed like a vampire. What's going on here?
The other one wasn't dressed at all.
Then a year after that, developer Hardsuit Labs was dropped by publisher Paradox Interactive even faster. These are some rapid drops we're talking about. The game's new developer, The Chinese Room, are known for narrative-driven walking simulators, which are similar to bloodthirst-driven vampire seduction simulators, except with less steamy neck action. Apparently, they were able to copy a lot of Hardsuit's homework, though the game is using a new code base with different gameplay mechanics and RPG systems. I'm guessing you now have to invest points into your walking stat before you can successfully climb stairs. Vampires, famously out of breath. Cause they're dead! Did you get it? Because now it's time for Quick Bits, brought to you by Throne, the service for streamers and viewers to connect on a whole nother level. Streaming can take a lot of energy, especially when you overreact to every tiny thing that happens, which can leave you a little hungry. With Throne, your viewers can help fuel your snack addiction or send you personalized gifts. Simply populate your wish list from thousands of options, integrate Throne to your favorite streaming or social media platform, and the next time you hop online, you can bring along a tasty treat sent to you by your fans. Ooh, they will love that. Create a unique and engaging experience with your viewers and check out Throne using the link below. Quick bits don't warm up to people easily, but when they do, get ready for the best hug of your life. It's really tight, but very warm. Tight and warm. Bethesda's head of publishing, Pete Hines, has said that the company will not abandon Redfall, promising the company will get it to be a good game.
Give it a red lift.
You probably know that the launch of the Arcane Studios game was poorly received, but hopefully the 12 gamers who bought the game can take solace in the upcoming 60 FPS patch, and Hines' promise that the game will improve just as much as 2018 Game of the Year, Fallout 76.
By the way, do you think that the Pete Hines' office is called the Hines Quarters?
Space-based Skyrim simulator Starfield typically requires players to use the fast travel system to move between planets. However, some gamers have decided to try flying from planet to planet the old-fashioned way because Todd Howard's not even their real dad. You can't tell me what to do. Streamer Alanah Pearce went the hibernation route by setting a course for Pluto, which ended up taking 7 real-world hours, most of which she slept through. Once she got to Pluto though, the ship passed right through it, proving once and for all that Pluto is not a planet.
Dwarf planet.
Well, it's not that either. It's a figment of our collective imagination. Star Wars Jedi Survivor has gotten its 7th patch since launching with more performance issues than a scruffy-looking Nerf herder. The game's console versions have gotten significant performance and quality improvements and support for variable refresh rates on PS5, while the PC version got DLSS support. So if Starfield's galaxy worth of exploring seems a bit intimidating, now's a better time than ever to play through a more focused single-player story that blessed me with dozens of hours of pretending the Star Wars franchise is doing okay.
Who hurt you, Riley?
It's not.
Don't say George Lucas.
It's not okay. It was lots of people. Interactive documentary, The Making of Karateka, is finally out. That sounds like it's sexy.
Thanks for your insight.
Is finally out on Nintendo Switch in Europe and Australia. Legendary game Karateka was originally released in 1984 and was revolutionary at the time for its martial arts combat and cinematic for its time presentation. There's only so much you can do with them. This new docu-game includes archived design documents, playable prototypes, as well as video features and interviews. If none of that interests you, you can simply buy it to prove to your parents that video games are educational.
They're not gonna believe you.
And it's been revealed that the romanceable characters in Baldur's Gate 3 have been so ridiculously skip dinner and straight to dessert thirsty because of a game bug. I don't believe this. Approval thresholds were set so unreasonably low that instead of simulating real relationships, they simulated that pizza delivery video you found on your brother's laptop. Oh, that brought a memory back.
I got a veggie deluxe here for you.
Apparently, the strongest affected character was the explosively tempered wizard Gale, who would direct you to his tent if you looked at him for about more than 3 seconds. I mean, he does have magic hands.
And a staff.
And I would know I unlocked the scene. I haven't gotten there yet.
But you're planning on it.
But I'll get there. But he's still not as magic as Thursday's game link will be, so why don't you pop on by for a spell? That's a little magic pun. We have fun here. It's pretty good. He gets up, and that's a slam dunk. Oh, hell yeah.